Geminis, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 14th to the 20th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, Gemini, so this week, it's a very active week. I think there's a lot changing. A lot of things moving forward, I think, continuously for you. Essentially, what we've got is the full moon on Monday, right at the beginning of the week. Making this first half, again, very energetic. There's a bit of support, awareness, and momentum being built. And a lot of this, though, for you is about the more receptive side to things, though I do want to mention the full moon will be in your 12th house. So this is more about doing the status check this first half of the week. Seeing where you can perhaps bring in a bit more peace and tranquility into your life. Or maybe you might need some more rest and relaxation, or whatever it is that helps you connect to your beingness. All right, this is essentially what the 12th house is. It's the last house of the Zodiac, of the wheel, which is about coming full circle back to nothing in a sense, but no thing. And connecting to our beingness in a sense of letting go, surrendering, detaching, being at peace. And so it's a really good time to examine your life. Ask yourself, is it like this? Some areas you're going to notice are, some areas are not, right? Cultivate what is working in this area. Continue to put energy into that because this is the time for that. Again, there's momentum. There's things being put forward that is coming to light. And that's what it is, the status check. You're becoming aware of it. And now you can implement this stuff. Now, a lot of this, too, has to do with your aspirations. The full moon will be very close to your 11th house, so it's also a good time to do a status check on your personal aspirations, the future things, hopes, wishes. Some of you, too, how your sense of community is going. And this is really a high point since the past 6 months, if you've started anything new with your aspirations. And now it's a good time to see them, be aware of them, and again, continue to put forward what is working. Also with the group and community things, if it's more collective for you on that regard. All right, so that's the full moon this week. As you can see here, things are kind of dissected into two halves. This first half, we do have your ruler sextiling up to Mars, which is actually a very nice thing to have because your ruler is, of course, all about, or at least right now, but generally is about taking care of the everyday things. Okay, Mercury's recently shifted into your 6th house, which is about taking care of your routine, taking care of your health, taking care of your diet, your regimens. This is where I think you can really be putting in some good, productive energy. And I say productive because Saturn's here, and it's already been this way, available at least, this past year and a half. It's been good for you to really take this stuff seriously. Your health, your self-improvement. But if it's not that, although I think at least to a degree, it can really help if it's that. But the other side to it is also your work, your everyday work, right? Putting in some discipline here, some patience, some persistence. I think that's an excellent way of working with this, especially as Mercury gets closer to Saturn over these coming weeks. But in either case, Mercury being sextiled up to Mars does give you perhaps an opening to get some momentum, maybe to be direct. Right? And if it's direct, it's in your, again, work, maybe something like that. Maybe it's about openness in your work. Mars is in your 8th house. So there's this motivation right now, more, relatively speaking, to get deep, to get real, to get raw, to connect to what really matters in life. This is actually good for Mars to be in the 8th house, which is his house. And he's also exalted right now in Capricorn. So I think this can be easy, relatively speaking. Okay, so of course not always easy to have openness and vulnerability and, that deeper connection to life and in relationships and with ourselves. But of all the times, this is a supportive time to do that. So that's where the motivation is. And again, first half of the week can be great for those matters, also great for the routine. And again, those ideals, since Mars does also rule that 11th house. How can those ideals really be in alignment with what you truly enjoy in life? All right, so that's the first half. Now, the second half, very important. Neptune is going to be conjoining up to the South Node. I was talking about this in the last weekly. And this is all about changes being made. And this has to do with changes with, I think, fundamentally your belief systems. this conjunction in your 9th house. This is the house of the life path. It's the house of what's possible. And again, the belief systems. So what it's likely saying is there might be some unhealthy things collectively, I'll just say, but maybe in your personal life, having to do with these, let's say, potentials and these belief systems. And so ask yourself if there's any over-under extremes with it. And with Neptune, the over-extreme is there might be some fantasies about it, some delusions about it, illusions about it, those types of fantasies about it. Or maybe it's an under-extreme. Maybe there hasn't been enough energy into your life to cultivate your adventurous spirit, that spark of life. The 9th house, it's the house of life in the sense of it's the inspiration for it. And so maybe there's been some things in the past that have prevented this or whatever, but now it's an excellent week to make some changes so you can have a healthy and balanced sense of what is possible, of your adventurous spirit, of that spirit of life. And this is really also, you can be cultivating basically the more practical stuff. This is where this year and next year is really taking you, is into the practical, the 3rd house. This is your house where the North Node is. Learning, maybe, reading, perhaps, maybe writing, some of you trading, exchanging, in the marketplace, or maybe just exchanging ideas, which then goes back to the whole intellectual thing. So whatever that is, it's not really a given, it's just an undercurrent. But as you find that undercurrent, you'll notice that, yes, the life path is taking you into this intellectually stimulating and perhaps exchanging, maybe social or what have you, side to life. And that can be a very positive energy. But to do that, of course, we have to make changes. And this is changes with those belief systems, that adventurous spirit. And I do want to mention right after this, your ruler is going to be squaring up to that conjunction and the North Node. So I think this second half, you got to be on one hand, extra conscious about your actions, right? And even your mind and how you're thinking about all this, and being very patient on the same token. But also, maybe there's something to actually make change with, where you actually have to take some action that might be uncomfortable, but you need to take. And it's good to will yourself to take that action. And maybe it has to do with the routine. It wouldn't surprise me because Mercury's in the 6th. Or maybe it has to do with your work. Whatever that is, whatever we were talking about earlier, having to do with the routine, the work. This is an excellent week for that. But I think challenging yourself the second half, so you can cultivate this change, so you can bring balance to this area, to this whole understanding and life area of the 9th and the 3rd house. All right, so that's the conjunction. Now, the conjunction is not all that challenging, especially as we get into Saturday. Venus is actually in harmony to it. Venus is going to be sextiling that conjunction. This is coming from your 7th house, so there could be some support here, some openings or opportunities with relationships. Could be enjoyable. Okay, I would certainly be aware of that. Maybe to express yourself in them. Venus in your 12th house or your 7th house is all about that. Maybe they're just easygoing right now, which is good too. So this whole week and the coming weeks, you have a lot of this, connectivity to be had in the relationship sphere, which has been over the past many years very deep, mind you. Pluto's been here, but these patterns have been changing and these fears have been being released. And so now Venus kind of lightens this up. But anyways, yeah, supportive there for the relationships or just connecting or a bit of balance and tact. And that can be, I think, an opportunity to facilitate these changes. I think it's facilitating relationships too, but it's certainly connected to all these changes that are taking place. Now, Neptune is going direct. So like I said, things are shifting, things are changing. And this has to do with, again, those belief systems. So things are changing no matter what. But I think a good way to be on the side of these changes is to understand that, yes, there's patterns that can be changed right now, and there's healthy ideals, healthy visions about the future, and I think cultivating those, right? Cultivating the healthy perspectives here, and again, that healthy adventurous spirit, which is really about detaching and letting go. That's the healthy quality of Neptune. Detaching, letting go, surrendering everything that's outside of your immediate control so you can flow. So you can go with the flow and accept, and there can be a tremendous amount of peace with Neptune types of aspects and Neptune going direct. Okay, but it's all part of this whole transformation, the second half. And I think you'll notice over the coming weeks, as Neptune gains momentum, a lot of these things shifting for you in that regard, involving those possibilities and that adventurous spirit. Okay, So that's the week in a nutshell. Gemini, the way I would sum this up for you is your ruler being in the 6th house. Like I said, an excellent time for your health, your diet, your regimens, and your daily work, your craft, developing your craft. All right, taking that seriously with Saturn. You got this full moon at the beginning of the week, helping you see that yes, there's an importance of having peace in your life, having rest and relaxation, having receptivity, surrender, and also of aspirations, of cultivating the things in the future, all right, that are important to you in that regard. And also a sense of community. You know, community is very important as well. So seeing how that's going and continuing to move that forward. And I would say with this conjunction, these changes happening, so you can really connect to that spirit of life and tap into that adventurous spirit. All right, Gemini, so have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.